All right, welcome to section 2.5, applying the distributive property. As usual, these examples and exercises are pulled from this Algebra 1 textbook you see over here. Let's get started. So, for most of so far, you've been used to the point where it's been written as A times B equals C, or A B is equal to C. We're going to move these and make them into, if you had variables a, b, and c. So if it was a times b plus c, you would write a, b, so a times b plus a times c. Now, similarly, if you're having a, b plus a, c, you can do another operation. It's called factoring, in which you factor out the GCF of of so in this case you have two terms, and the greatest common factor is a. You have a on both numbers, so you can factor out a, and you're left with a times b plus c. So you have to master yourself from going into this way and this way, as this will help to prove to be very useful as you go on to the higher maths. Now that we've taken care of that, let's go ahead and solve our problems. For example 1, they give us 16 minus 8n. So where I was talking about factoring, you have to factor out the greatest common factor. In this case, your greatest common factor is 8, because 8 times 2 is 16 and 8 times 1 is equal to 8. So you factor out the 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. So 8 times 2 equals 16, and minus 8 divided by 8 equals to negative 1 n, because the n carries forward. You haven't included the n out there, so you have to include the n over here. So when you distribute this, you get 16, 8 times 2, 16, plus 8 times negative n, which is minus, so 16 minus 8 n, and that would be your answer. For number 2, so for number 2 here, they gave us n times n minus 9. Now, we did it the way we factored it out, so now we have to distribute it, so we have to multiply it in. So n times n is equal to n squared, and n times minus 9 is equal to minus 9n. So our answer would be n squared. So I'm just going to rewrite this, but your answer would be n squared minus 9n. For problem 3, they give us 4 times y plus 3. Let's just make sure that's it. 4 times y plus 3. Yep, okay. So for this situation, you're doing something very similar to this, only you have a constant out in the front. So your answer would be 4y, or 4 times y, plus 4 times 3, which is 12. So your answer is 4y plus 12. For problem number 4, you're given 2 minus n times 8. So 2 minus n times 8. People, when they first see this, they tend to get afraid, or they're confused as to how to solve this, because now you're the number you're the number of variable you're multiplying with, the parentheses is on your right side instead of your left, as it's been in these examples. But it doesn't matter what side it's on. It can be either on the left or the right. It does the same thing. But instead of going with the variable first, you're just multiplying with the constant. So 8 times 2 is 16, and minus n times 8 is equal to minus 8n. So our answer is 16 minus 8n. Notice that this is very similar to number 1. Only difference between these two is that the 8 is on the left side here and the 8 is on the right. So it doesn't matter which way you solve it, you'll still end up with 16 minus 8n. Hopefully you got a good understanding of that. Here are your exercises for lesson. And like the last lesson, we do have a challenge problem. It's simplification. And once again, you have to try. I want you to try to solve it with the least steps possible. So in other words, try to minimize your steps. And whereas, like for example, if we take number 2, right, I could have done this with n times n minus 9n, and then I would have gone on to n squared minus 9n. But instead of doing this way, I just went ahead and wrote it as n squared. So there's an example of where you can save some time. And I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And if you like our content, feel free to please subscribe and like our videos. Thank you.